Please can we welcome Sharon, Tadese.
My favorite color is black too. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. It's so nice to be here, and I'm super excited. Whew. I think I will start with a very big thank you to Coach B. I remember the day she sent me a message, and she just said, Sharon, would you be free on the 26th of July? I didn't even know why. I just said yes. She said, oh, I want you to speak at this event. I just shouted, ah! Because I was like, who am I that you were so mindful of me? And I'm very happy to be here. I'm happy to be speaking to us this afternoon. What I'm going to speak about today, I don't have a topic in that sense. Oh, Coach Josie is laughing because she knows my secret. I don't have a topic, and to be honest, what I'll be speaking about is not what I initially planned to speak about. Okay, I didn't introduce myself. My name is Tadese Sharon, the real Sharon. By profession, I'm a marketing and branding specialist. I've been doing that for about 5 years now. But about 2 years ago, I found myself doing something which I never planned to do, which is personal finance management. I don't know how I got into it. I like to tell people that I got into it by accident, to be honest. It was just a passion of mine to just see people do better with their finances. I mean, I had friends, they were earning good money, but then somehow they were very terrible managing their money. I mean, you ask people, you make so much, but you don't look like it. Right? You don't look like you make money. You don't look like someone who even touches money. Right? So when Coach B told me this, I'm like, you know what, I'll just speak on how to grow your money, how to make your money work. And while I was preparing my slides, I started my slides from the beginning, how to make your money work for you. But then midway, I actually stopped. I'm like, this is not what I want to talk about. And so I said, you know what, I'll talk about wealth building, how to build wealth. And then I stopped again. Because somehow I felt like everything I want to tell those people, I mean, what I do is I help people budget. I mean, a lot of people feel like, oh, budgeting is you imprisoning yourself. You won't be free to spend money. Budgeting will put you in a cage. And I said, you know what, let me just tell people what it means to actually budget, track their expenses, save and invest. And then I'm like, everything I want to say today, you probably have heard it from a lot of finance coaches online. Budget, track expenses, you should know where your money is going, save 10%, it's good to invest, build wealth. And I'm like, we know a lot of these things. We've heard it 1,000,001 times, a lot of finance coaches. But the problem is, why are we not doing it? So why aren't we rich yet? I want someone to actually answer that question. I love that comment, like, I'm rich, really. But not a lot of people are confident to actually say that. And I'll start by saying that the secret to wealth isn't a secret. I mean, gone are the days where the secret to wealth was known to very few people. Not a lot of people knew about investment those days. It was just, people in their small groups that knew about it. But the secret to wealth these days, it's no longer a secret. It's everywhere. If you scroll on Instagram, you see a lot of finance coaches, and they keep talking about these things. They tell you how to build wealth. They tell you why you should invest. They tell you you need to save something. They tell you you need an emergency savings for days where things are not so well. So the secret to wealth is no longer eating. It's not in the book. And trust me, they are in some programs, some courses. We've taken courses. Some of us read books on wealth building and all of these things. But the problem is, why are we not doing what we learn? And that's the question that nobody's asking, right? I know sometimes they tell you getting rich is about knowing more. You need to know more. Know more about investing. Know about this, know about that. And so we pay for courses, and it's very beautiful. We attend trainings, we attend conferences about finance and wealth building. but then it ends there. And then sometimes they'll tell you again you need to earn more money. Now, earning money is good. Earning money is very, very good. But let me tell people that earning money is much more easier compared to actually building wealth.
Yeah.
Because wealth building doesn't start with earning money. Wealth is first from the mind.
Yeah.
You know, I have a client, I have a student which I'm currently working with. And I was working with that student for like some months. And one day I just thought to ask him, have you ever thought of being a wealthy person? Have you just, imagination is free. Like, you can literally just imagine. Like, have you ever thought about being wealthy? Have you ever thought about building wealth? And he said, no. I'm like, so what are you doing here? Like, what are you actually doing here? So, you just made me see that a lot of times we know these things, but we are not doing it. And then we think, oh, it's because I don't make so much money. So I'm going to wait until I have more money. Right? But it doesn't start with having more money. It starts with the right knowledge and then actually doing. So the real barrier is not that we don't know what we should do. The real barrier is that we are not willing to face it. The real barrier is that we are not willing to actually face it. And that's the problem. Not that we don't know what we ought to do. So I can come here today and tell you, you know what, you need to save. When you will say, oh yeah, we don't save. But I will advise you to save regardless. Right? Savings will save you, just like its name. That's what savings is supposed to do. It's supposed to save you. But it does not end with saving. Right? Because the only way to actually do well is by actually investing in systems. Investing in the things that will help you to multiply your money. So what I want us to do today is to confront the real barriers. What are the things that are actually hindering us from not doing what we ought to do to build wealth? So if we know that we ought to budget, if we know we ought to track our expenses, if we know that we ought to save, if we know that investment is a true way to actually build wealth, so why are we not doing? What are the fears that we are that is actually holding us back? You know, for me, I used to be so scared of investment. I did not like to invest. Growing up, a lot of people had addictions, people are addicted to social media, people are addicted to food, some people was drugs, pornography, and all sorts. But from a young age, my addiction was saving. I love to save money. I saved 1 figure, 2 figure, 3 figure, 4 figure, 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures. I was just saving. But I could not just bring myself to the point where I would invest that money. I don't know why. It was just like that for me. And then someone one day I gathered all the strength you need to actually invest. As at that time, I thought it was investment, but it was actually a Ponzi scheme. So all the money I'd invested, I lost every single thing. And I said, I will never invest again. If savings does not make me rich, then I will not be rich then. Right, but one day I had to confront that fear that if I want to actually be wealthy, I need to be willing to take risks with my money. I need to put my money in places that will actually help it to grow. And so that was the barrier for me. That was my own fear. I know some other people, it could be that you just feel like this money thing is not for everybody. There are actually people with that mindset that they think wealth is for some certain kind of people. Not everyone is born to be wealthy. I've met people like that. I've worked with someone who says, no matter what, even if you give you 1 million naira today, it really does not hold you down. If someone looks for a way for all of that 1 million naira to leave his hands, because he's a Christian, he's a child of God, and just believe that if it's 1 million naira, I can just spend everyone in it and then God will bring another one. Now, it all boils down to, we are Christian change makers, right? And then we need to be good steward of the finances that operates in our hands. So today, I want us to break through. And I'm going to be taking us through 3 steps that could actually break through with our finances. And the first one is to name your fears. When it comes to wealth building, what is actually holding you back? And it's okay for you to not know and think, well, I don't know, and that's what is holding me back. But beyond that, you might need to sit and actually think about what is holding you back when it comes to making finances, making wealth. What is holding you back? What is the fear that you need to confront? Right? Some people, when they hear big money, it just sounds really good. Some people, when they hear 500K, it sounds like very big money to them. Like 500,000 naira. Like, it's so big to some people. And that's because their mindset has been so limited. Some people, the highest and the farthest they can see is 100,000 naira. Like anything beyond 100,000 naira feels like so much money to them. Right. So I need us to, sit and actually confront our fears. What is actually holding me back? What are the things that, and the funny thing is, it might be from family. It could be from your background. Those are the things that will actually limit you. When you wake up, when you live in you come from a family where, you are used to poverty. Let me use that sense. Like, you're used to poverty. That's all you grew up. And then the more you see the landlord coming to ask your parents for house rent, and they're having to hide under the bed. And then you see your mom having to sell her wrappers just so that you can feed. These are limitations that we might have to know when they actually confront, because they might be holding you back. There might be limitations holding you back and stopping you from actually breaking through with your finances. So one thing you want to do is to actually confront your fears, sit and actually name them. What is holding you back? What is stopping you from actually being wealthy? Because as change makers, we need this money. We need this money. I think this year I got into mission school. This year, mission school has been killing me. I've died many deaths, and I still have many more days to die. And it just opened my eyes to the fact that the mission needs money. Yes. One thing my pastor will say is, we are going to the nations. We are sent to the nations. I'm like, to go to the nations, to go to the nations is not 1 million naira. It's not 10 million naira you need to go to the nations. There are projects, there are assignments, there are visions that God is committing into our hands. And we need money. But somehow it looks like mentally we not even broken to that realm. Our mental capacity cannot even manage the finances that God wants to commit into our hands. Right? So number one, we need to name our fears and to actually face it. Face your fears. Face your fears. If you think that you're bad at managing money, if you think that you have a problem with holding money, then face it. If you think you're terrible with savings or with investing money, face it. Find a way to work around it. Because God wants to commit bigger things into your hands. God has great assignments He wants you to do. And for every assignment that God will place in your hands, you need finances to push it out. You need finances to actually push it out. So face it. And the last one is to keep going, because action will always beat fear. Right? And to conclude, I would say that wealth doesn't care about your background. It doesn't care about your salary. It doesn't care about the system that you put in place. And the difference between where you are and where you want to be is not a bigger salary. Now, big salary is good. It's very good. It's very, very good. Right? But the difference between where you are and where you want to be is the systems that you create. The system that you create to first make money, next to manage it, and lastly to multiply it. Because it doesn't end with making money, neither does it end with managing money, but it ends with what? Being able to multiply money. And I would like to end with this. It's a very sad truth that has to come, has to come to accept. And it's that not everyone will be wealthy. Not everyone will actually be wealthy. And so we can talk all we want. We can talk about building systems. We can talk about reading books about finances. We can do all the talk. But not everyone will actually be wealthy. And it's absolutely fine. I used to force people to be wealthy. Like, you have to build wealth. You have to learn how to manage it. But I'm just coming to understand that not everyone will actually become wealthy. So wealth is a decision. You decide. Just the same way you decide that, I want to get close to God. I want to fulfill God's plans for my life. That same way, you decide to be wealthy because there are systems that you need to put in place to actually become wealthy. And that is what I do at the Money Circle. I am the founder of the Money Circle, a personal financial strategy where I actually hold people's hand. Now, I like to say we are not a course, we are not a training, because I can train you and let you go, and that's where it ends. So I don't just train you, I don't just teach you what to do, but I actually sit with you. And I have some of my billionaires in the house. Right, so I sit with you to do the work. I don't just tell you budget, I don't just tell you track expenses, but I actually sit with you to budget. And you will explain to me why I'm mismanaging your money. It's that serious. Because we've got a good steward of the money that God put in our hands. So I would like to just end by saying that make a decision to the well-being, because there are nations that are actually depending on your wealth. There are nations that depend on your wealth, and don't see your wealth as for just yourself. It's a legacy that you could leave even for the next generation.
Thank you very much, and thank you